Well, welcome to our training this week on the Authority Authenticator. By the way, if you haven't already grabbed a copy of the worksheets, then just type worksheets below and I'll get them to you after the training. If you've got it, then be ready to go through it with me. I'm going to move through and help you to discover your unique value. We're going to get rid of any false humility and get you to a position where you can step into your calling and start making the impact that you want in the world. So let's just go through this together and have a look at where this all fits in. So as part of my curriculum that I work with coaches, the Roadblock Eliminator, we go through three areas. We go through a mindset makeover where we get rid of those false and limiting beliefs. We put together a results roadmap so that we know exactly where we're going, the things that are stopping us from getting there, and what we need to do so that we can overcome them. And then the third area, which we're going to talk about today, which is the Authority Authenticator. Being able to step into your expertise and know that you are an authority and be okay with that. So when you have the right mindset and you've got a roadmap to travel, then what we're able to do is reverse the conditioning. When we've got that roadmap and we go through what we're going to go through today, this is all about giving you more confidence. And it also creates confidence for your perfect fit clients. When you've got your authority authenticated and you've stepped into that and you've got the right mindset, that means that you can take more control over your own destiny and what it is that you're wanting to build in your coaching practice. But here's the thing. There are some roadblocks that I see all the time that stop coaches from doing this. And what I want to do is I want to step through those, and I want you, as I'm doing that, to go, hey, is that me? Because roadblocks are the things that are going to stop you from going from where you are now to where you want to go. So the first thing is comparison syndrome. It's like the movie Ford versus Ferrari, where they got so wrapped up in comparing themselves to others that they dropped the ball. And this is what can happen for a coach, for a trainer, when they're continually just comparing themselves to every other coach out there. And they're looking at that from a perspective of where those coaches are now who've been doing it longer than they have. And the result of that as well is that their confidence is crushed. And they hide behind everything and they don't be who it is that they can be because of those limiting beliefs, because of the things that they're telling themselves in their dialogue. And it creates a false humility where it's okay to sit in the crowd and cheer others on, but no, that's okay. I don't want to step into the limelight. You know, that could be you right now. If it is, let me know. And I've seen so many coaches that are in that place, and the end result is playing small. The end result is, instead of being on the stage, letting your voice be out there, you're still in front of the mirror with a hairbrush. And you're not allowing the world to hear the beautiful sounds that can come from your voice because you're feeling like you're not a fit. You're feeling like you're not good enough. All those things in the internal dialogue. And team, this happens for coaches too. Yeah, that's right, because coaches aren't perfect. Just because you're a coach, whether you're an emotional intelligence coach or whatever you are, just because you're a coach doesn't mean you've got all these things together. So my aim is to help you to have different results. And just by going through this training today, whether you're watching this in the Facebook group or whether you're on my page, I want you to think about your reality and where it is that you want to go, because you can actually step into your calling, where it's okay to be on the spotlight, where people are actually listening to you. And instead of playing small, you've stepped up, where you're able to build a personal brand because you're confident in who you are. And you can draw from your hero's journey. And the first thing to do is to be able to see yourself as that hero. So there's three parts of that call, of that hero's journey. And we're going to talk about those today. And then we're going to get into the worksheets, and you'll see down here we've got some things that we're going to go through. So if you haven't yet got a copy of the workbook, then just write workbook, just type workbook in the comments, and I'll get it to you. If you're watching this on my page, then just click the button down below and you can get yourself a copy. So one of my favorite movies in the world and my series was the Lord of the Rings series, and then going into The Hobbit. And they're an amazing story. And I love this. And this is where young Gandalf, young Frodo is being encouraged to step into his calling by Gandalf the Grey. And he's his mentor. And this is a pinnacle, a crucial part of the movie, where Frodo goes from being just a hobbit in a town to taking on a quest, and he answers that call. And then the second thing that we all go through is the struggle. And I know I've certainly been through some, and I know you're going through them as well, and you have been. And Frodo's best friend, Samwise Gamgee, they had some major fallings out as they went along on the journey. So it's not all peaches and cream just because you've been called. There are some struggles along the way. But then comes the victory. And if you've ever watched the movie, you know that they finally reach Mount Mordor, and he goes inside, and he's defeated everything that's in his path. And he takes that ring and he throws it into the lava, and it's gone forever, and he's got that victory. So within that call, within that struggle, within that victory, therein lies your authority. So what I want to do is give you an opportunity to have a look at how you can use this workbook. Once again, if you haven't got it and you're in this Facebook group right now, then I want you to pop workbook down in the comments, and I'll organize a copy for you. If you're watching this on my page, then there's a button down below. You can just download it from there. And it's called the Authority Authenticator. See, an authenticator is something that makes sure via a process that what you're thinking, what you're hearing, etc., is true. And I think about in my military career many, many years ago, where we used code, and we had a code system that we would use where someone would say one thing and we would go, I authenticate, whatever it was, and those two had to match with the code that we had in front of us, or it didn't make sense and we didn't go through with it. And that's what I want to be for you today. I want, through this process, to be your authenticator. I want to help you to discover your unique value. Firstly, I want you to understand that you've got one, right? And I know for some of you that sometimes that struggle has got you to a point where you don't feel you have anymore. There's so many coaches out there doing so many things. Even in my area of expertise where I help emotional intelligence coaches, there's a lot of them. And obviously the harder I work at that, the more that there are. But you've got a unique value that you can bring to your perfect fit audience. And I want to help you to find that. So this authenticator is a process that you can go through. All right, so let me just show you a little bit of an unpack of what this means, and then show you how to use the worksheets. Okay, so as I said, there's 3 parts to this. There's the call. That's that moment in time where you know what, I'm stepping up. I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to do this. This is my mission that I'm going on. Then comes the struggle. And who understands that it's after the call that the struggle normally comes, right? There's less struggle when you don't answer the call. And that's why a lot of coaches actually do play small, because to be in the top percentage of coaches and to have the influence that you want, to make the income you want, to then make the impact that you want in the world, you've got to do what others aren't prepared to do. So the struggle does come. But then those who persist experience the victory. And I know that you've experienced many victories already. So here's the thing. Let's look at the call. When we get this wrong, what we do is we actually run from the call. So we hear it, we feel it, other people are saying it to us, and we go, nah, that's certainly not what I want to do. It's too scary. I'm not good enough, whatever you're telling yourself. But when we get this right and we go through this process, we're able to embrace the call, just like young Frodo Baggins did, and set off on that quest ahead. When we do that, when we embrace the call, this is where we're able to inspire people. There's people out there waiting for you to be their coach right now that you can inspire with your call. When we go into the struggle and we don't do this well, what we do is we focus on failure. What did I get wrong? How did I fail? And indeed, at a higher level, what we do, even though we're coaches and we know this stuff and we can help others with it, what we do is we label ourselves as a failure, which then becomes part of our identity, as opposed to I failed, right? And we know that failure itself is only feedback. So when we do this well, when we are stepping into our authority, when we've had that authenticated, then what our struggle does is gives us lessons. So sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, as John Maxwell said. So failure can be flipped into lessons. And when we handle the struggle, when we go through it and we use it in the way that it's designed, we then have things that we can inform our potential clients with. We can inform them and give them that information. All right, so let's have a look at the victory and then roll up our sleeves and give you an opportunity to do this for yourself. So when we're looking at the victory, when we do this not so well, everything that we learn, everything that we go through becomes lost. We go through the call, the struggle, and we go through the victory. And because we are not capitalizing on them, we're not using them, they just become lost. And you forget them. And you get back into another struggle when the victory had so much there for you. But when we do this well, we can take those victories and we can leverage them. And we can turn them into teachable moments. We can show people what's possible. Right? And all this can help us, not just in our coaching, but definitely in our marketing as well. So when we leverage our victories, that allows us not just to inform, but to influence. So we get to influence people's thinking. We get to influence their decision making. We get to influence their lives because we've taken what it is that we've been through and we've turned it into a currency. We've turned it into something that we can help people with. So what I want to ask you right now, just as we're going through this, is, do you know when your call was? I guarantee that you could write out a heap of the struggles. What about your victories? Are you so much covered in by your struggle right now that you've forgotten the victories? So what I want to do is help you to get your reality. So the results are where you want to go, but your reality is where you are right now with this. So as I said, you've got a worksheet here that you can go through. If you haven't got it yet, what I want you to do is just type worksheet below. If you're watching this on my page, you can just hit the button and download it and go through this process here where we go through each of those individual areas. So as it says, describe your journey leading up to the call and the defining moments that inspired you to step up. So before you became a coach, before you answered the call, there were things that happened in your life. Or it could even be that you became a coach and you started doing some training or whatever it was, but then there was that moment, there was a defining moment where you said, you know what, that's it. This is me. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is my mission, is to be a coach, is to help people with it, whatever it is. Just like Frodo Baggins, my mission in life is to take that ring and throw it into Mount Mordor so that the world can be safe again. By the way, if you haven't watched any of the Lord of the Rings movies, you're probably thinking, what is he on about? It's just an amazing story of good triumphing over evil, if you can handle all the other stuff that goes on as well. But what is it for you? What are the defining moments that you know where you went, you know what, that's me? So capture that down on the worksheet and give it some time. I've given you heaps of space there. I want you to do it in the narrative so that you get really clear around that. So then the next thing is to look at your struggle. Now, we want to do this in a certain way. We want to do this in a forward-focused way. So I don't want you to get to this point and go through your struggle and then go, oh, okay, that's a place to camp and let's feel sad about that. I want you to actually get in and look at what adversity you've been through and what you learnt from those experiences. In your adversity is the seed of others' greatest opportunities. The things that I've been through in just the last 14 years of my coaching career. And I remember when I first started my coaching journey, I almost lost my wife. My wife spent 5 months. Oh, I'll get it right in a minute, Grant. 5 weeks in hospital, and we thought we were going to lose her. I've had so many things happen, but I learned so much about myself and about my ability and about, running a business and all those things that I've been able to help others with. So what is your struggle? Right? And what did you learn from those experiences? So a good idea might be to draw a line down the middle of the page, put your struggles over here, and then go back and go, okay, what did that teach me? And these things in here become your intellectual property. They become the things that you have to take into your practice. And then the third area is your victory. Now, obviously, we've got to go through the call. We've got to take up the call. We've got to embrace that. We've got to go through some struggles so that we get the victory as we're going through. And I know this isn't just about a victory that is, the pinnacle. So, I'm a $1 million coach or whatever. No, there's victories along the way. And if I get anything across to you today, I want you to understand that these victories can happen daily. And we need to celebrate those, right? Not by buying a new car, but by acknowledging them. Because out of the victories comes lessons as well. Being able to look at it and go, well, what did I do well in that? What was it that helped me to go through that struggle and come out the other side? So here, what have you overcome by implementing those lessons, and how did this help you to grow? So there you have it. If you don't have the worksheet, type worksheet below. I'll get it to you. If you're watching this on my website page, there's a button below you. You can just download a copy. And then what I want you to do is look at this last page here when you're finished. On the left-hand side, there's an area for you to put your notes and questions. But I want you to put your name on this. I want you to use this as a tool for yourself. This isn't just something that you're doing, right? And we've got the ability here for you to put in your insights. What did you learn going through this process? Then what can you do with it? What are you going to implement? And what's the impact that that's going to make? And I'd really love you to, in the Facebook group, to come back to this video and to let me know what it is that you received from this. So here's the thing. You are an authority. You have what it takes to be who you need to be, to influence those who need your influence, to make the income that you deserve to make, and to make a bigger impact in the world. In our Growth Accelerator coaching group, we go a lot deeper in this stuff. We do the other two areas as well. But I really wanted to give you the opportunity to go through this. And if you want to find out more about that, then just put growth in the comments below and we'll get you some details. If you're doing this on my website page, then there's an opportunity for you to book in a growth call with us. But have an amazing week, and I look forward to bringing you some more training in the group again next week. I'll see you then.